Good morning, it's Caleb Leverett here in sunny Florida, and today's topic is pick up and drop off in high conflict divorced situations. If you are a member of this channel, you already know where this is going. In many divorces, it simply happens to where mom and dad didn't get along well enough to stay married, but they get along well enough being divorced. They simply just drop the kids off back and forth. It's no big deal. So what I'm about to talk about more or less does not apply to those people. The people I'm talking about and talking to are the divorced parents where mom and dad hate each other. And I'm not going to be the one that beats around the bush and pretends that, it doesn't happen and you don't say anything to the kids. There's certain things you don't say to kids, but there's obviously reasons people get divorced, and there's obvious reasons many people hold grudges. And there are many reasons why mom and dad simply effing hate each other. That is what I'm going to talk about. There's a case that happened, it happened about a month and a half ago, but it became public about a month ago. And it involves a man by the name of Chad Reed. He is a father in Lubbock, Texas, who was shot to death on camera. And the man who obviously, I'm not going to say allegedly, he obviously shot him because we all saw it. His name is Carruth, not to be confused with the other Kyle, the Kyle up north. It's funny how those names, I'm not going to get into my conspiracy theories, but I am going to talk about how to deal with, in like my case, and obviously in Mr. Reed's case, these very high conflict divorces. I don't know these people. Lubbock, Texas, like I said, it's about 2.5 hours north of Odessa, where the Parker movies were filmed, where I was born and raised, and I don't know either of these people. And I don't have any inside information. I haven't really followed like, a bunch of follow-ups. I've done a little bit, but not a lot. Hello, Mr. Airplane. But anyways, I didn't even watch it when it first came out. I waited a little bit because I was busy. Blaine's living here with me here in Florida, and I was just busy. But I did watch the live video that has since gone super mega viral. It's made national headlines. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not even going to try to, just go watch it, and this will make a little more sense. But anyway, the first thing I noticed, and I'm going to make it very, very clear. The father shot to death, Chad Reed, I am 100% on his side. He did not deserve murder. And Kyle Carruth, in my opinion, is a murderer. He was looking for a fight. So I'm not even going to try to dance around to pretend that I'm trying to be equal. I am being equal just by the video I saw. But the biggest mistake that I first saw that Chad Reed, and what unfortunately led to the fatal mistake, was Chad Reed obviously stepped on her property. Whether it was in her name, in her mom's name, I don't even know if that was necessarily their house. Maybe it was a rent house, maybe it was a friend's house. The point is, in high conflict situations like that, the first rule is, I don't even know how to organize these. There's like 5 first rules. And one of those is, do not ever step on your ex's property, ever, for any reason. There is one caveat, and if I remember to get to it, I'll get to it at the end of this. Do not step on her property. You stay in public. You'll notice in the Parker movie, and I didn't get out of my truck. I knew the laws in Texas. You can record yourself, you can record, you can hold a camera in public, and record. That is a law. There are some states, I've been told, where the state legislatures have made it illegal and they will punish you. That goes against all kinds of Supreme Court rulings, but I'm not even going to get into that argument. You can record in public. Generally speaking, in the United States, you can record in public. when I say in public, make sure you're in public. Yes, her front yard is public. It's out exposed to the public, but stepping on the property was a gigantic mistake. If he hadn't have stepped on the property, to me, it's already a no-brainer. Kyle Carruth murdered Chad Reed. But in the eyes of a lot of constitutional carry people, Second Amendment people, gun ownership people, of which I admit I'm a huge gun fan. You'll be hard pressed to find someone more of a, I don't have a lot of guns, but as far as the right to own a gun and defend yourself, you won't find anyone more staunchly in support of that. But the bad part is, in this case, is that is the what the defense is going to hide behind in order to defend Kyle Carruth. That is when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I get it. He's mad. He's really upset. He wants his son. Believe me, I know. And that's, unfortunately, that is the system that is put in place. Some people say the system is broken. I simply disagree. I think the system is put in place on purpose. It is working exactly by design. But I think obviously it was a good thing that his new wife, Chad Reed's new wife, recorded everything. I've got my suspicions. I think it's very odd that she was pretty nonchalant about the whole thing. But again, I'm not trying to get into a bunch of conspiracy theories, even though I love conspiracy theories. But I want to tell more parents, I get it that he was upset. Obviously, I was upset in the Parker movie, or I wouldn't have recorded it in the first place. I see my son, wanted to live with me, wanted to spend more time with his dad. We don't know much else about, the public doesn't know much else about Chad Reed and I think he's a 5-year-old son. But tensions or emotions are going to be raging. You're going to be, if you are dealing with a narcissistic asshole for an ex, that narcissistic asshole of an ex is going to try to push your buttons. Y'all got divorced in the first place. And this has no gender boundary. There's narcissistic asshole men and narcissistic asshole women equally. But if you're dealing with a narcissistic asshole ex, they obviously know you very well. They know how to push your buttons. And my advice is beyond don't step on their property is do not react. Under any circumstances, do not react to the buttons of yours that they are pushing. Let them push away, and don't react. Do you really think that I enjoyed being called that guy? Do you really think I enjoyed, in front of my son, do you really think I enjoyed another man being referred to as daddy in front of my own son? No, I did not. But I bit my tongue. Don't say anything. When your ex goes after you and knows what will upset you, knows what will set you off to get you to explode, do not react. And the reason I'm saying that is I've known this for years, and I'm a slow learner. But even back then, 8 years ago, I had watched so many high conflict situations with humans, particularly with police interaction videos. People say things, they get upset, and the other person loses their shit. Cops get called, and everybody knows what happens. That's when the nightsticks come out. That's when the tasers come out. That's when the guns come out. Do not lose your cool. If you have to practice at home and let your girlfriend or boyfriend or your best friend or just somebody pretend to be your ex and call you everything you can imagine that you wouldn't want to be called in front of your own child, practice it and keep a straight face. And then that leads into my next rule is hold up your camera. And do not, and I repeat this, do not hide cameras, do not secret cameras. It is legal to record in public. Like, hold your camera up and walk around and record in public. What is highly illegal, whether you agree with it or not, what is highly illegal is this thing called wiretapping. And wiretapping in the right hands of a really nasty, well-paid, very sharp lawyer can have a very broad definition of what that is. And if you don't know what wiretapping is, in a nutshell, it's basically secretly recording someone else's conversation without them knowing. You cannot do that. It is highly illegal. No matter what you catch them doing on there, it will 99.9999 times out of 100, it will be thrown out of court and not admissible, because the tables will get turned and it will go on you. However, you can hold your camera in your hand. You can have, like in my case, you did never see it, but if you watch the Parker movie, there's this when the officer Spinks is coming around to the other side to talk to me, or maybe it was Rocha, I don't remember, one of them. They're coming around and you hear this thud, and what I'm doing is I had a suction cup and I was taking my GoPro off. I didn't have the GoPro going, but nobody else knew that. Maybe it was going, maybe it was not. That gets into a caveat. If your battery dies and while you're recording something, don't say anything and don't put it up. Just keep going, because they don't know what you're recording. If you're recording, you are legal to record in public as long as you're not secreting your videos. I suppose you could hide them in different places in your car. That's no big deal, as long as your car is in a public street or a public sidewalk and not someone's front yard. Because as soon as, unfortunately, Chad Reed let his ex push his buttons, he entered the property. I get why he did it. I really do, because it's infuriating what an ex can do and push your buttons and harm. You see your child being harmed and listening and hearing things that they don't have any business hearing at that age. I see why he gets upset, but you must control yourself and do not enter their property. When I saw Chad Reed on the property, I thought, this is not going to go well. And then I was just like everybody else. My jaw was dropped, that it escalated to a gun. Anyway, again, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but you get my point. Stay in public and do not react, and have as many cameras, at least one, but to have as many cameras in public or in your car, or on your body, recording what's going on. And usually one of two things will happen. When the person being recorded that probably doesn't like it, but fortunately, knock on wood, at least for now, we live in the Constitution, where the Constitution sort of still protects people via the first 10 amendments. They may not like they probably won't like being recorded, but you make sure you do. And one of the two things will usually happen. Either they'll figure it out and they're like, oh shit. They'll bite their tongue, at least in front of the child for now, and they'll let the child go. And if that's the case, no harm done. You recorded it, you keep it to yourself, don't do anything with it, and you might hold on to it for a few years just in case, but there's no need to publish it. If you don't get sued, then there's no need to bring it in court. But at least you have it. If cops get called, which if they're the type, they like confrontation, they like pushing your buttons, they're almost always going to call the cops. They love calling the fucking cops all the time. So they're going to call the cops. When the cops arrive, normally I would, and most cop watchers will tell you this, do not speak to police. But a lot of cop watchers, be careful with them, because a lot of them are idiots and they just simply have a lot of hate in their heart, and they're going to be absolutist. Don't listen to that. Be careful what you say to an officer. You'll notice whenever Officer Brandon Spinks, Odessa Police Department, came up to the car and the confrontation began, he asked for my ID. If you're not suspected of committing a crime, you don't have to give me your ID. You just don't. That's just a fact. That's Supreme Court proven over and over and over. I made a judgment call because it involved my son. And it was the conflict, the tension was already bad. I didn't call them there, but I made a judgment call. I was there legally to pick up my son, and so to make his life easier, to make my life easier, I just handed it to him. Be careful what you say to cops. Do your best to be polite. Really, just treat them as if they're anyone else and just a stranger on the street. I'd like to say assume they were there for good intentions to de-escalate and resolve the situation and walk away, just like Officers Spinks and Rocha did all those many years ago in Odessa, Texas. However, this is the internet, and I'm not naive, and I assume a lot of you aren't either. We've all seen brutal police brutality videos, but the more you try to stay polite, you don't be careful answering questions. You can answer basic questions. Yes, I am the child's father, or else I wouldn't be here, because the child shouldn't be going with someone who's not their father. And in the cop's defense, the cop shouldn't let them go if you're not the dad, if you're an impersonator. So it's okay to say who you are and show an ID. Try your best to be polite. I get a little off topic there. One of two ways. You either walked away and everything's fine. If cops are called, do not stop recording. Do not stop recording under any circumstance. Even if the phone is knocked, your recording device is knocked out of your hands, do not stop recording. Make sure you get everything. And if somebody turns to violence, make sure it's not you. Do not resort to violence. Do not initiate force. You can defend yourself. That's okay. But that's the last thing you want to do, is have any sort of violence. Obviously, defend yourself. Yes. But do not instigate it. Don't call names. Don't insult. If they instigate the violence, it's a tough call. Obviously, you're not going to want your child beaten to death, and this sounds shitty, but make sure you get it in recording, because everybody has, especially parents, have this natural instinct when someone's messing with somebody you love, particularly a young, weaker child. Your natural instinct, or at least us people who aren't cowards, is to just jump in and defend them. Make sure you get it on camera. It sounds horrible, but make sure you get it on camera. And then if you're able to drive away, keep the video evidence. Always keep the video evidence, but particularly if you're able to drive away with your child. Keep the video evidence. Use it as leverage. That sounds shitty, but guess what? That's the system in which we live. You must save it and use it as leverage, because they don't know exactly what you got on camera. Maybe you recorded all of it. Maybe you had a bunch of different angles. Maybe you didn't. But you use it as leverage to negotiate in court. And if they behave nicely, then you can, destroy and not do anything with it. And come to an agreement where the child, let the child live wherever the parents think that the child should live. But do not destroy the evidence. But if they are, and do not publish it, don't publish it. If you're going to use it as leverage, that's entirely the point. Do not publish it. In other words, I've got the evidence of what you did, oh mean ex-person, and if you behave in court and let our child equally see as 50-50, then it will be destroyed and I won't use it against you. However, if they call your bluff, if they call your bluff, upload it 100% unedited. Even if there's a lot of long, boring parts, because we live in a meme society. We live in a flash, quick, you scroll to the next story society. But you don't edit anything out, because I see so many parents doing this. And some say, well, I don't want my phone number out there. Well, try not to say your phone number in camera. If it's that important to you, fine, edit out a street address, but make it, just be careful with it, because what you get into is if you got a bunch of cuts, a bunch of edits, it looks like you're hiding something. If you'll watch the Parker movie, guess how many edits are in there? None. I pushed start, and then I didn't push end 70 till 72 minutes later when it was over. We walked away. So I guess that about sums up my rant on, and the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of people have been asking me in the comment section on my channel, and if you are in a high conflict situation, child pickup and drop off, those are the main three. There's more big ones, but those are the main three. Do not enter her property, his property. Do not react when they call you names, and always, always, always record everything. Again, if you've got multiple cameras, great. Hold on to that footage, and if they negotiate, play nice. You know, you can't. Well, I guess you could. It'd be kind of an asshole thing to do, but if they play nice, then don't publish it. You can still hold on to it. Maybe you want to show your kids or something, but you know, don't publish it if they hold up their end of the bargain. But anyway, one last thing. Of all places, the Chad Reed Kyle Carruth place that happened in Lubbock, Texas, and to the best of my knowledge, about 3 different judges in the Lubbock County area, I think it's Lubbock County, I'm not sure, whatever county Lubbock, Texas is in, they have resigned or recused themselves. And Kyle Carruth's, he wasn't even fully divorced from her at the time. His soon-to-be ex at the time, they are now divorced, but his soon-to-be ex at the time, she is a sitting judge. So there's getting really, really, really sticky. It's going to be a battle between the Second Amendment people and the 50-50 custody people like me. I'm also a Second Amendment person, but before that, I'm for 50-50 parenting. And so these people, a lot of big agencies and individual judges have recused themselves from the situation. They diffused it, and as of recording that I know of today, there have been no charges. It has been sent to the Texas Attorney General's office, and if you've been on my page or my channel any length of time, you probably already know who the Texas Attorney General is, and his name is Ken Paxton, Deadbeat Paxton. Ken Paxton's office is now in charge, and I think this is just wonderful. I suspect that Ken Paxton is going to rule in favor of the stand your ground second A, and it's going to piss off the father's rights people, the 50-50 equal parenting people, just because we always get the shaft. And Ken Paxton does not, and I believe will not, do anything to harm his Title 4D funded organization. And he's going to use that in his re-election campaign, because Ken Paxton is up for re-election in November of 2022. So about 11 months from now, Deadbeat Paxton is up for re-election. If Ken Paxton actually does the right thing and calls a murder and files charges against him, prosecutes this guy, he's going to take a lot of heat from the Second Amendment people. He's going to have Republican contenders like Eva Guzman, and who's the other one? I can't think of the other one. Eva Guzman. Oh, George P. Bush. The Republican people. The people gunning for his job. They're going to come right out and attack. I promise you. I'm predicting this. They're going, if he rules in favor of father's rights and equal 50-50 parenting, and craps on Title 4D, I'll be the first to, say, good job, Ken Paxton. I just don't think he will. If he sides with the shooter, Kyle Carruth, the murderer Kyle Carruth, then I promise you, Joe Jaworski and Lee Merritt are going to use that in their campaign. Oh, look at Ken Paxton. He's already under indictment, and he's such a horrible person because he's defending another murder. He defended Kyle Rittenhouse, and now he's defending Kyle Carruth. I promise you, they will use that. That's if the Attorney General manages to makes a ruling or does their investigation before the November election. Big things like this have a way of getting pushed back. Kind of like the Deadbeat Paxton getting arrested back in 2015, and he's still out on bail. He's literally still out on bail. But anyway, another prediction, while I'm making predictions, of all the people, George P. Bush, Lee Merritt, Eva Guzman, and Joe Jaworski, all four of these people, none of them have taken a stance on Title IV defunding. Not one. I've been at this for months, damn near a year now. They've not taken a stance on Title IV defunding. They also have not said, and to the best of my knowledge, and I follow all their social media pages, maybe I missed something, but none of them have taken a side on the Carruth and Chad Reed case. Not one of them. And you might say, well, that's not their job. They're not going to take sides. Well, they kind of do. Just watch all their Twitters and all their Instagram, and they've got their pet projects. They've got, women's rights this and guns rights that, and First Amendment this and Second Amendment that, and they're and we hate Biden. He's a Biden. We love Biden. He's Biden. The border crisis. We've been a border crisis ever since I've started paying attention to politics, which was before I even graduated high school. But anyway, that is my prediction. None of the four contenders going against Ken Paxton will say one word about Title IV defunding and what's causing all this mess. And yes, if it wasn't for Title IV defunding, you take out the money aspect, and I guarantee you, a lot of these people holding children's away from mean X, and you take the money aspect, they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, well, I get money anyway, so we'll just kind of split it up. They're not going to say anything about it. And if Ken Paxton's office does an investigation, makes a ruling before the election, let's just say he does, then I promise you, George P. Bush, or let's say he's in favor of Carruth and the Second Amendment, stand your ground laws. I assure you, Lee Merritt and Joe Jaworski are going to attack him on that, because it's all gun stuff and it's bad, and it's cheerings involved. And Eva Guzman and George P. Bush will give a healthy, okay, well, I don't like Ken Paxton. I'm gunning for his job, but good job. If Ken Paxton files or their investigation rules in favor of the deceased Chad Reed, the dead father, who was there, obviously, for no other reason than to get his cheerings. If he rules in favor of that, I promise you the opposite's going to be true. You're going to have, Ken Paxton knows this, by the way. He knows that, he hates this, I promise you. He hates that this is right before the election. His office has to decide the investigation. He's going to have an angle, I promise you. They are calculating an angle. They don't give a crap about justice for Chad Reed or any other, divorced parent in Texas. They are all about control and all about Title IV defunding, because that's how his employees get paid. But mark my words, if you care to watch this race, mark my words, watch what these people, if you care who the next Attorney General of Texas is, watch what they say, watch what they do, watch what they don't say and they don't do. And I promise you, they're not going to say a word about this until the investigation is. And as soon as it is, it's already in place what they're going to say. So anyway, you can avoid all of this by do not enter their property, her property, his property, whatever your ex situation is. Do not enter your ex's property. Always record, always, and do not react to their insults, because if 9 times out of 10, if you blow up, you're gonna be the one who loses. So holy moly, I've gone 30 minutes. I'm out of here. Y'all take care. Bye.